Hi viewers, I would like to welcome you to another series of iSoCIAL. This series particularly is around real estate and construction. We have our honorable guest here as Mr. Rajiv Nehru, who has more than 2 decades of experience in the industry. And we want to talk about how real estate and IoT are really related to each other, and how is IoT contributing to real estate today. So I would like to welcome Mr. Rajiv Nehru here. Thank you so much for coming in, sir. What is happening these days is that everybody is talking about IoT, and we all talk about IoT in the electronic media, in so many other technologies. We are talking about Industrial 4.0. I would like to have your perspective to how is IoT impacting real estate today.
Yeah, real estate, as you know, is a lot of smart people are in that domain of real estate, and half of them are in locations which are not good to talk on this media. But idea is IoT real estate are intertwined if you go really in history. We launched a project long back in Pune, and we advertised it we called it FTTH, fiber to the home.
Right.
We said on one fiber you can order a pizza from your home, and it can get delivered. And this was 2006.
Absolutely.
And we sold 2,000 homes on that one advertisement. And the pizza didn't come at the end of the day because the FTTH technology at that time was very nascent. Right. And the person who was supposed to deliver that product closed his company. But that was a start where people wanted that service, that they need things when they desire so.
Right.
Now it's old wine in a new bottle. When IoT basically comes from your feeling of having things, or whatever you search on your smartphones, it creates a profile of yourself. And especially in real estate, for example, let's talk about typical real estate transactions, for example. In a transaction, if I am having some surplus money with me, and I have linked my account with my investment profile, I would get an idea about if I can invest some surplus money in real estate projects which are having a good yield based on my profile. One more application of IoT would be about sensing my requirements as a person, as a profile, that how I relate to health, how I relate to transportation, my requirements in terms of the space, my habits in terms of using services in a project. So that could profile me in a way. It could link up with my lifestyle, and it would give me a option where I could go in the market and search for properties which I would like to invest in. Another aspect of IoT would be the smart element, wherein I would like things to happen on their own without my actually using my effort. If we talk about very smart basic things in real estate, it would start from the basic idea of whether the spaces which I am using are they the right dimensions on which I have actually bought them. So an IoT based system would map my apartment's dimensions in a model where I can see whether these spaces are what I paid for. Is the dimension right? Is it approved by the government? Even the height of the ceiling, for example, we had an event in one of the societies when we were trying to hand over. The people thought that the ceiling height from the floor is too low, and they did not know whether it's a legal thing to do. So when they went, they find an RTI in Bangalore, and they found out the height was half a meter more than the allowed height. Okay. So we thought, why didn't we make it half a meter lesser? Okay, but if it would have come automatically that the height was 2.85 meter, which is allowed by the Indian standards, the person doesn't go all the way to find an RTI, and with all the duress he goes through, and then finally he finds out it's the right thing to happen. So another part of IoT is trust and transparency, which will built in lot of I have to mention here big data, because a lot of intelligence will be built through the big data, and we know about big data. Even the murmurs are sort of captured by big data. If you answer to an ad yes or no, it will give us a profile of the person, whether he's interested to invest or not. In fact, we used it in one of the projects where we put it on the Facebook, and we just asked the question, is this location good for you? So the Facebook responses came, and we heard the murmurs, and the yes or no would actually define whether the person is interested in the project or not.
Excellent.
But one important part of IoT, when we look at the construction part of the whole process of real estate, when the life cycle initially from even land survey, if land is say on a hillside or it's on a location where I need the contour of the land, I have many options available. One is I can do a drone survey and do a geo mapping of the whole area. I can do which is called a LiDAR survey, LIDAR
Okay.
full form. It's a satellite-based PEG survey where I can get the original ground level mapped, and it will tell me how much excavation and filling I need to do.
Oh, exactly.
Even prior back to the land. So I can decide the land parcel to be purchased or not based on the profile of the ground, and if it's too much of work, or even the rock formations, the geological conditions I can know, and I can decide there itself whether this is a good place to work or not. Even when I have geo conditions known, my foundation can be designed accordingly, my structure can become lighter, I can decide what the project duration can be, because based on my construction situation, that is initially when I do the survey. Then comes when I actually start the construction. The first biggest issue is the manpower there. When in a big site with 2,000-3,000 people, say if you have a 10 lakh square feet site, you will have close to around 2,500 people working there.
Okay.
I would know who is entered my site, how much he has worked, what effort he has done. If I have geotag with them, I would know exactly which person is where, when he started the work, what effort he is doing on the site. I can have a camera logged in onto the geotag if I want to, and I can map whether he or she is
putting his full effort.
It could help us in finding out productivity, safety. Actually, he's not. Many times in our sites, we see when after lunch people go to the labor camps and they don't come back. So I would, and so an IoT would help.
Technology enables that
tag,
to a bit.
The other issue is supply chain management, big issue. So I have a capacity of a transit mixer or a benching plant where we make concrete, and I don't know how many hours it has run, what is the input, what is the output, what is the waiting time of a mixer who on which they pour the concrete and they go to a location to again pour it again and then come back. So the time lost, I have no idea. If I can tag the time loss, I would know. In fact, I know from experience in a given day, I lose 2 to 3 hours just in waiting for a machine to wait for either the input or the output.
Oh.
So in this case, the efficiency of machine won't be more than 10 to 15%, and the RI will go out of the window. So IoT will help me actually tag the loose ends. It will give me an intelligent answer of how I map capacities, and then the outputs. Even when I am pouring concrete or I am testing steel, in fact, the time when you pour concrete and the time when you de-shutter the formwork, the setting time should be automatically understood by the system. When I need to remove the formwork should be known to me by a method of testing the concrete in situ wherever it is placed. And my IoT, I wish that IoT should tell me that what is the strength which is got after say 4 or 5 days, because the strength will define when I will de-shutter. And the sooner I de-shutter, the faster turnaround will happen.
Absolutely.
In fact, we did a building in Pune 2015 where my slab cycle was 1 day.
Oh,
and we took out the formwork in 11.5 hours because we had accelerators and we had a system of testing in the online system of testing in the site, which could, the moment we reached 50% strength, it was indicated that I should take out my formwork, and we achieved a 1 day slab cycle. Excellent. The problem was with the banks now, because banks pay you money on a slab basis, and every day we're casting one slab. So we had to go back and educate the banks that this is our slab cycle and this is the way we are doing, and then they said how will pay every day. So then we created a system where they could pay on a cluster basis and all. So IoT actually will make me more intelligent, because there are a lot of gray areas in real estate which people hide, and that becomes their advantage of either wasting time, earning money, or maybe creating a black hole where you can't measure. So real estate typically comes the problem of non-measurable things.
Correct.
And IoT is the answer to that problem. I think that's a very good thing to have.
Excellent. So essentially what we are saying is, what I take back from your discussion is 2-3 key points. One, that the technology around IoT is going to improve efficiency, when you mentioned about the labor and the utilization of the machines like the mixer and so on and so forth. The second thing that I take away is what you just mentioned, which is around bringing clarity on the progress of construction, which is a big thing. And the third is the first point that you picked up, which is saying that when a builder has to choose, or a real estate guy has to choose a location, and if there are parameters available that can be measured, it allows for you to judge what kind of costing is required to construct a building at that site, and I think that is a big parameter for any real estate person.
But the problem is the builders decide use for land because they buy the land first. We will go to a concept for land for use.
Land for use, absolutely.
Decide to use first and then find the land, and this will help you do that.
Excellent. It's been a pleasure hearing from you, sir.
Thank you.
And I'm sure this is very enlightening for our iSoCIAL people. I hope this helps. Thank you.